tea for all of us, and we begin this crazy-ass tale. You want some, Louis?
Sure.
Hell yeah. I've known him since my first fucking year here. Not even kidding, I met Louise the first day I was here at DePaul. I didn't really know anyone in town, kind of on my own. I come from Cincy, Ohio. In Maineville, they don't really tell you to leave your hometown. So I was the fucker who left his hometown. And well, I decided to go there, make some friends. I did my jigs, I listened to my own tunes, and I had my own style. I see Louise and my buddy JFK. This man is a goddamn genius in Japanese. Like, I tell you, if for a non-native, best Japanese I've ever heard.
Luis,
Yes.
how would you describe Sean?
So imagine the character, you think like, oh wow, what a fun character. I'd love to cosplay him at a convention or something. He's such a fun guy to be around, and you see clips of this guy on YouTube just existing in his respective show, and that's just him in real life.
My father's side of the family is half Irish, half Polish. See, my grandmother is from Poland.
Okay.
And my dad's side, the McCarthy side, not Rushkas or Noyaks, as sometimes they refer to themselves as, they were full Irish Catholics who kind of came here during the potato famine, and we were the ones who got discriminated against when we entered this fucking country on our potato boats.
Have you ever been to Ireland?
No, I can't say I've ever been, but always tried. I've thought to myself, one day I'll do it. You know, it reminds me when I was a boy. Butterflies, a fox, a severed head, ooh, and the cheese! The cheese was to die for, Diego!
Okay. You said you have a dad, yeah?
Yeah.
Do you have a mother or no?
Well, gee, I sure hope I do. I was fucking born.
Well, I mean, do you have a mother like that you know or something like that?
Yeah, me and my mother are closer than I would even say me and my father are.
So there's no like stepfather or stepmother? Okay.
No, but my parents just divorced.
How recently?
Literally happened this month.
Got it.
Kind of recently. Yeah, it's been kind of falling apart for years.
So you saw this coming?
Yeah, I think I predicted this 4.5 years ago. It was very, very hard for me. As Louise can easily state,
Yeah.
this had a toll on me.
It did. Vouch.
Yeah. Actually, funnily enough, my dad made bets I'd go with my mom. It's kind of a weird tribal system in my household. You're either with someone or against someone. I'll need other people to be sure of myself. Hell, it's probably why I'm so fucking happy all the goddamn time. I mean, literally, I got plenty of bad news this fucking winter. My grandfather grew up in a small town in North Carolina called Norlana. Same with my grandma. Of course, she's gone nowadays. I can handle a lot of shit. You know, I'm an actor. I mean, I can play anyone I need to be. Hell, I can be that hard edge you fucking need right goddamn now. But the thing is that when you start wankering me with all this shite, I'm not gonna start playing into this game. Alright? It's a real tough one.
Is you being direct and open like...
It's part of it. It's part of why I'm so open about things. I don't really mind. I may look like from afar, because people see, you know, like me in the red coat. They will see like my red shades. I'm talking like from kindergarten all the way to 8th grade. We had like no money. We just barely kept our fucking house, I swear to God, mate. But, you know, my mom's a professor of psychology. Not the crazed hero of Maineville, a legend sent to another world to help those in need. I was an introvert. I was terrified of people, all the way to 4th grade. In fact, I didn't say much. I talked, I had a girlfriend, she cheated on me, long story, kind of stupid, it was 3rd grade. But, you know, like, in about 4th grade, I finally just one day said, fuck it. I don't care what other people think about me. I care about what I think about me. And this is what goddamn started. This is what started me being class clown. This is when people started respecting me a lot more. This is when, you know, like, I started to have sway in school. And I, for a while, would symbolize that inner strength in a coat. No one wants to fuck with the guy in the trench coat late at night wearing shades. No one. And I guess it was a black hoodie after about 6th grade. And I tell you, I was a fucking edgelord. Alright, like I'm talking flat out, I'm gonna kick your ass. Ooh, I'm a rough and tough bad guy. I can take down anyone loud and loud. And then in about 9th grade, I tried to become a smartass. I was an all honors student, kicked ass. People thought I was a goddamn genius. I thought about it and I'm like, this black coat's too edgy. I cannot keep doing the edgelord bit. Alright? Edginess, you know, people are just gonna think you're a fucking weirdo. And I mean, I do like edgy people. I got friends who are goth, I got friends who are emo, but it just really doesn't fit my personality. I'm very happy all the time. You can't have a kid with almost white hair running around laughing and smiling while wearing black and then suddenly talking about genocide. Like, that just doesn't work, okay? Like, so in 10th grade, I finally switched out for this brown hunter's jacket. I just told her, hey, hands off. You can't touch the merchandise. Buy a man a drink at least before you touch his chest, okay? Come on. Not that hard. I've had a job consistently from when I was 15 to this current day. I worked first at a Kroger, then I worked as a sushi chef, I worked for a Domino's, I worked for Kings Island as a ride operations handler, and I worked for Dunkin' recently. Unfortunately, I had to leave Dunkin' because of my parents' divorce, and I can't really go back to Mainville, so I can avoid going back there and watching a complete annihilation of my family. I'm trying to avoid that fallout, and I straight up had to tell my boss, you know, you've had me for 2.5 years. It's been an honor, but it's time for me to go. They were fucking beside themselves. Like, there were Facebook posts about me and shit. Like, I'm not even kidding. Like, all because I do my crazy voices. I would give people inspiration. Hell, I could be Southern, be a rootin' tootin' cowboy, shooting gentleman any day of the goddamn week. Back to the story about the trench coat. So finally in about 11th grade, I buy this thing, right? And I don't really wear it to school because, I'll be honest, it's a nice coat, but come on, black trench coat, high school. There was this kind of thing called Columbine, and I'm not really interested in those kinds of people. Like, I love forensics and shit, but if you want to kill kids, you should hang yourself. And my grandma looks at it and she goes, Sean, that is the perfect coat for you. It fits your character perfectly. She's like, I just wish it were a different color, but you look really, really good in that coat. And I was like, really? So, time flies, and thanks to my grandma, they just started becoming a staple. Like, the second trench coat I got was my classic red right here. I actually named most of them. For instance, this one I called, I think it was the Outrage was the term I used for it.
What was the first one called?
Oh, fuck. I'll be honest, I can't remember the name. It was Junkyard something. But yeah, no, this was like my first coat. It was pretty great. As you can tell, it's a bit ragged. So my grandma first saw my red coat when she was officially dying of kidney failure. Cancer finally shut down her kidneys and she was gonna die. So we all showed up there. I was concussed at the time from an accident at work. She saw this red coat, told me, Sean, this coat is perfect for you. She's like, wear that coat wherever you go. She said to me, Sean, I know that, you know, you're out of it right now, but I think red is your color, and I think that red coat perfectly encapsulates who you are. Full of love, energy, passion, always wanting to do the right thing. So during COVID, unfortunately, right after I learned my grandma was dying, a dog that I'd had since first grade also developed cancer, but not in the kidneys. He developed a stomach tumor, and it was killing him from the inside. Cancer is a leading cause of death in my family, but that's a mystery mask tool that'll help me later. And effectively speaking, my dog, we learned he was dying, and good old Samson, you know, he looked so, he was a good boy. He was a golden retriever Labrador, you know, very nice dog. That's kind of why I wear this wristband. When we had to put him down, he died in my arms. I saw the light leave his eyes. That was actually the same day my black coat got retired because he kinda, yeah. I wear it from time to time, but it's a special occasion thing. They gave me this wristband and I haven't taken it off since. There was like 2 kids who gave me drawings that said, "Hey, we're sorry about your dog. I hope you feel better soon." I cried. I'm not even kidding when I said I cried on shift. It was so touching to hear people say stuff like that. It's a miracle, really, you know? You don't see drive-through workers, you know, that kind of recognition. You know, we're really sorry this happened to you. It's okay to feel bad. You know, you don't have to be a hero to us every day. And I would say I'm very, very lucky to have made such an impact on people. I was working at Dunkin', right? And we had a new girl. This girl, without any training, mopped the floor, and I was in front gathering donuts, like I do, and I was cooking them in the back, so I was running back and forth, and I slammed my temple into the pointed end of a metal prep table. Slammed it, full force. I was knocked out for 2 minutes. I didn't initially see what was wrong, but I noticed that it felt like input delay, as we'd call it in the games industry. And I was, and you know, like my brain was right fucked. I went into the back, and me being the guy I am, I was like, "It's okay, boss, everything's fine, I can move, I can blink, I can still fight. I can see, I can fight!" But this was not the case. I felt a rushing in my head, and I was getting motion sick way easier than usual. Turns out, I had been concussed for about a week, and I didn't even notice. And people genuinely just thought I was acting weird to deal with the situation. They sent me to the emergency room the next day. And they demanded I don't fall asleep. I'm a math whiz. I could not do anything above basic math. I could not hold a thought for more than a few seconds. From, I believe it was October 20th, around there, all the way to January 31st, I was in physical therapy. And all this while I was a full-time at school and a full-timer at Dunkin'. I just had to be at the window and be myself. And I guess that's kind of where the fame started there, but yeah, so my boss would scream in my ear, she'd make noises to give me migraines and shit, and then wonder why I wasn't doing well. And, you know, like, she couldn't realize that there was a reason that nothing I said was making sense. Replay Arcade and Bar. Louise here has actually a great story. Louise, you remember that time in Game Dev 2 where where you and Will had to talk me through programming because I was so out of my mind that I could not actually program a game.
Yeah.
And we still had to meet deadline.
Yep. Yeah.
Like, Louise was the real hero of COVID for me. But, yeah, no, that's just how it came to be. You know, the concussion, my sophomore year, my grades, I had a 3.7 GPA. I went from that to a 2.9. I'm still recovering from that at 3.2 right now. I got fucked by it. I lost a lot of my memories doing that, like, especially from really far back shit. Like, I could not even remember high school. My friends would tell me, like, these amazing things I did, and I would not know what they were talking about. They told me that I spit in the principal's hand at graduation. I checked. I did. I eventually got back my memories. The migraine stopped after January. I was in a bar fight at Halligan's, and oh man. Only time I ever had to fight. See, I'm a pacifist, okay? So, like, I don't like fighting people. I feel guilty when I hurt people. After I had this guy punches me in the basement of Halligan's, I uppercut him back. He runs off. I was terrified. But thankfully the staff saw it and told me, hey, you know, if he calls the cops, we got your back. But I'm not going back to Halligan's. People have tried to mug me outside that fucking place. Never works if it is not abundantly clear. Never again. Fuck that place. Fuck Kelly's too. I don't mean to be that guy. Hold on, you might want to cut here. We gotta sign you out. If bread is too hard, too soft, if it doesn't taste right, I can tell you. You know, I baked banana bread with my siblings. White bread isn't that bad. My favorite type of bread is actually a baguette. Je parle français comme c'est comme ça, monsieur. J'adore le français. Yeah, I can speak a little bit of French. I tend to find I don't like whole wheat. I don't like rye. It ain't worth a cuss. It don't taste as good as it did years ago. I'm a very fluffy bread kind of guy. Louise loves crunch. Louise, isn't that place with the square boxes called like Jollibee? Or
What do you mean a square box?
the square milk tea boxes. You know, the really fancy place in Chinatown that makes good bubble tea.
That is not Jollibee. Jollibee is the Filipino chicken restaurant.
Oh fuck. I used to hate phones with a passion. Like full on hated phones, would not use them. I'll be honest, I don't like there being records of me too much. As much as I've told myself as a kid, I want to be a hero one day. I've been burned by a lot of people in my time. I've had good friends betray me and like, you know, try to just fuck me over entirely. So I'm always careful about what I leave behind. But in 9th grade, or 10th maybe, I landed a role in a production called Headless Horseman at Sleepy Hollow. 10th grade, I know it was. And I was a third-party character they made for one scene. A guy called Hans Varkenvisser. And I played an old man well. You see, I can be a feeble old man. With the right makeup, I can be the greatest wizard of all time. I took to it like a fly on, like white on rice. I did amazing. Like, people couldn't believe that for a first timer with no formal training, I could actually impersonate another person really well. Like, some people were like, that isn't even Sean on stage. That's Varkenvisser. That ain't Sean. That's another entity who took him over. And I've been just going with different versions of that same pair up to this day. Tell ya. May not be the best prices for pints, but definitely a limited free arcade game is absolutely worth it. So the fingerless gloves, that was a recent addition. That was handing people coffee. My hands would be red, and my hands freeze up if they get too cold. Like my joints start to hurt a lot. I bought a pair of leather fingerless gloves, and that's where the fingerless glove craze started because I realized they just looked good on me. They matched the red coat. The shades, that was a freshman year here at DePaul thing. I would play dodgeball, and I'd have this really sick pair of black shades with mirrors on them. They had to make a rule freshman year that my trench coat count as a hit because I was so damn good at dodging. Not very high, but yeah, first place, bitch! There's two things that I find to be the most important things about life. The first one is if you're like me and you want to be a hero, you have to always remember that being a hero isn't about saving the world. It isn't about constantly making everyone win. It's not even about always doing the right thing for people. It's about supporting those around you and helping people who need it. It's about being there for someone. Even if it's just a small person, even if you make one person smile, it's worth it and you've succeeded. The only other thing I've got to say is that there can be no doubt, no fear, only strength in the heart of a warrior. And you must always remember to believe in yourself, no matter who is wrong or right. Farewell.